The views or opinions expressed on Ann Arbor Inclusive do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the City of Ann Arbor and the Commission on Disability Issues. For more information about the Ann Arbor Commission on Disability Issues, please visit a2gov.org/disability resources.
Hello and welcome to Ann Arbor Inclusive. I'm your host, Tom Hotlin. The National MS Society is committed to making research and life-changing breakthroughs so that every person affected by MS can live their best lives as they stop MS in its tracks, restore what has been lost, and end MS forever. Whether you or a loved one are newly diagnosed or have had multiple sclerosis for many years, you have to go to the right place to get connected, gather resources, and get important questions answered. The National MS Society is working toward a world free of MS. To that end, I'm very happy to have Tammy Willis, the Executive Director, and Liz Trapp, the Director and Healthcare Provider of Engagement for the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. Before we meet Tammy and Liz, let's take a look at a video that they sent us.
Computer graphic animation titled, "What is MS?"
Multiple sclerosis is a disease that impacts the brain and spinal cord.
A human
which make up
figure
the
showing
central
its
nervous
nerve system
that controls everything we do, whether it's taking a physical step or solving a complex problem.
Close-up of the nerve
The
system.
exact cause of MS is unknown, but we do know that something triggers the immune system to attack the brain and spinal cord. The resulting damage to myelin that insulates wire-like nerve fibers is a disruption of signals to and from the brain.
A myelin is being
This interruption
destroyed.
of communication signals causes unpredictable symptoms such as numbness, tingling, mood changes, memory problems, pain, fatigue, blindness, or paralysis.
Three human
Everyone's
figures.
experience with MS is different, and these losses may be temporary or long-lasting.
One of the
Most
figures
people
places
initially
its
have
hand
relapsing
upon the
remitting
chest.
MS, where they experience attacks of new symptoms followed by periods of time when those symptoms go away partially or completely.
Another looks
Others
at its own
experience
hand.
gradual and ongoing loss of function without distinct attacks, which is known as progressive MS.
Close-up of the nerve system.
MS can be difficult to diagnose, but once a diagnosis is confirmed by a neurologist who is knowledgeable about MS, there are disease-modifying therapies for reducing attacks and slowing down the damage. Growing evidence suggests that early and ongoing treatment with a disease-modifying therapy is an important defense against future attacks. There are also treatment strategies to address some MS symptoms. Options are still limited for slowing down or stopping progressive MS.
Image of the globe.
Worldwide research is accelerating the discovery of how to slow down or even stop progressive MS, how to repair nervous system damage and restore function.
A human
Wellness
figure
strategies
running.
such as exercise and diet that can help people with MS to live their best lives, and the exact cause of MS so that it may be prevented for future generations.
The portraits of people.
To learn more about multiple sclerosis, connect with others to drive research for a cure, and to address the challenges of everyone affected by MS, visit nationalmssociety.org or call 1-800-344-4867.
That's a good video. Liz, can you tell us the different types of multiple sclerosis that people are diagnosed with?
So the most common form is relapsing remitting MS, that you have periods of symptoms where you may have vision issues, numbness, trouble walking, and then after a short period of time, you kind of go back to normal. Everything goes back to normal, and you go on with your everyday life. And those can happen anywhere from, a couple months to years apart. The goal is to get someone on a disease-modifying therapy to sort of stretch out those time periods between relapses. Other folks have progressive MS, which is where you really don't have any relief from those symptoms. You just sort of have a gradual decline as time goes on. Now you may, with progressive MS, have some times where you really, if you take a look at like a stair step where you're right here and then all of a sudden your functioning goes down to here, and then you plateau a little bit and then you go down. But there's always that gradual decline in function. And when we talk about the different types of MS, as I mentioned in the video, some folks have cognitive disability, some folks it's all physical, some folks are somewhere in between. The vast majority of people that have MS you wouldn't know that they have it. A lot of folks, there's invisible symptoms such as fatigue, or again, some vision issues, and maybe someone might wear some different type of glasses, but lots of people wear glasses. Fatigue can be a huge issue for folks, and I think there's lots of different ways to address that, but we always encourage people to contact their doctor if they're having continued symptoms, and to contact the National MS Society.
Tammy, how many people live with MS in the United States?
An answer I wouldn't have been able to answer for you 6 months ago if I were on the show. And I still don't believe it's an exact number, but it's something that we knew. If I were to ask your audience today to raise their hands if they knew somebody who had MS, my guess is that every single household would be raising their hand.
Okay.
So we knew that there were a lot more people than maybe had connected to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. So we just published a landmark study, and the results came out in March. And before, we had thought that there were 450,000 people across the country living in the U.S. with multiple sclerosis. And this study actually shows that there's closer to 1 million people. It's more than twice what we originally thought. To someone living in Michigan, probably not surprising, because unfortunately, we have a distinction of having one of the highest populations of MS in the country. And we don't know the answer why, but we believe that we know that the farther away you live from the equator, the higher the incidence and the rate of diagnosis with MS. So there's a lot of research going on into, is it a vitamin D deficiency? Is it something environmental? Is it a genetic factor? Is it a combination of those?
Do you know about Michigan?
Here in Michigan, we were saying 18,000 people. But again, we know that that's more than that. And so that's the next phase in this research study that we've done, in the prevalence study, is to start to look at state by state and communities, and that will help drive some of the research that we're doing then too. It's also going to allow us to know where those population clusters of people with MS are, so we can better serve them.
Right.
To find the actual number of people probably would have been easier to go door to door and knock and ask people if they have MS than it was to go through the process and come up with the actual numbers.
So what other programs do you offer individuals affected by MS?
This is one of the things that is constantly changing. And so I'm very proud that we're an organization that listens to people who are living with this disease. And we want to cure MS. We just want a world without multiple sclerosis any longer. But we know that while we are getting to that point, people have to live today with their disease. And so we've really looked at what are those life challenges that people live with on a daily basis. And that's where we want to spend some time talking with people. We did a comprehensive study and a survey asking hundreds of thousands of people across the country, what do they want from their MS society?
Okay.
And we heard very clearly they want to be connected to really great healthcare professionals. We also heard they need information when they're newly diagnosed. There's so much information, it can be overwhelming for somebody. So you can contact us and we can send you packets of information or different topics that are in chunks that are digestible. Sometimes too, MS can be an isolating disease for people. And so we do a lot of programs around connections. We have self-help groups that happen. We do webinars where people can connect online. And one of the areas too that's new for us, and the video talked a little bit about it, was wellness and diet. So we know now the more active people stay, the better their outcome typically with their MS, and the prognosis will be. Where when I first started with the National MS Society 25 years ago, somebody may have been diagnosed and their doctor would say, go home and sit on your couch. There's really nothing that we can do for you.
Right.
And we know that that's absolutely not what we want people with MS to be doing.
Okay.
We want them to stay active however they possibly can. So we have a lot more wellness programs, yoga, like I said, diet, and because we want to reach such a large population of people, we do a lot of that through webinars or videos on our website, resources and readings that people can download there. The other thing that we have is last year, over 800,000 people contacted the National MS Society by calling us. And when they do that, they're connected with one of our highly trained professional staff members, and it's part of our MS Navigator program. And they can help with whatever challenge you may be having. You may have questions about finances. You may have questions about insurance or employment. And it may be about how do you make your home environment a better one for you to be able to live in and to stay in your own home. That Navigator program, you can call, you can be connected, you can go to our website, and there's a box that will pop up and ask if you want to chat, and that's a live person with one of our MS navigators. People around the country are taking advantage of that, and it's the number one thing I tell people who are newly diagnosed is contact one of our navigators and start to build a relationship with them so that they can be a resource for you. And there is one woman who we brought a video to share with you. Her name is Patty, and she made that call to one of our MS navigators.
Okay, let's take a look.
The scenery of a farm ground.
MS is an unwanted burden. I felt like there was nobody that really cared, and I felt myself going downhill. We are so isolated from everything.
An
out
old
here.
farmhouse with a
I
barn.
couldn't go anywhere.
A middle-aged woman
My
in a
chair
wheelchair.
Didn't have batteries. We didn't have enough money to pay our bills, and I was so overwhelmed.
Patty,
and I
diagnosed in
just thought
2004.
My life was hopeless.
National MS Society.
1-800-344-4867.
I can ask the MS Society anything, and it did change everything.
Dana,
Patty
case
called
manager.
the 800 number of the National MS Society. You'll get someone who's compassionate and helpful and has been trained very well to see what the needs are and where it should go.
Patty with her husband.
Families can face tons of financial issues, transportation, medical, getting the medications that they need, finding a doctor, finding a neurologist. It's so encompassing. It affects every part of their lives.
They helped get me Medicaid. She sent me in the right direction to find my own help.
Patty, in her electric
The
wheelchair, is coming out of the
power
house.
chair, as a way to get her outside instead of being stuck in the house all the time. I wanted somebody to come into the home.
She
and
enters a
help her
van with the use of a ramp.
everything and getting to the doctor and getting into town. Her husband was working 12, 14
Her
hours a
husband
day out
is
of the
walking
home,
with her.
and she was alone.
I can't do a lot of things by myself, and it takes somebody else.
People with MS can rely on the National MS Society as a supportive partner.
I was such a mess, and now I'm not. It's a great breakthrough. I'm starting to like where I live. I have somebody here. That's what gets me through, is I have a good attitude.
The MS Society provides information, connection, and support so that people can have quality of life.
The society has got me over the hump,
Patty smiles at the camera.
back to life.
1-800-344-4867. NationalMSSociety.org.
That's great. What types of research does the society fund?
So there's really three categories of research that we look at funding, and the first one is what we say is to stop MS in its tracks. And so those are the medications, the disease-modifying therapies that we encourage people to take to really prolong the time between relapses. So those medications, in the early 90s, there were none. And we started out with a few, and they were all injectables. And then we're able to have a few more that, you went in for infusion every so often, so it was kind of less cumbersome than taking a shot every day. Then we now have some pill forms. And now we also have a treatment for those that have progressive MS, and that's within this last year we've seen the first treatment for people that have primary progressive MS. Those medications are really put there to stop MS. Now there's 15 or 16 disease modifying agents.
Wow.
So we've come a long way in that time. The next category is to repair what has been lost. So in the video it talked about that the immune system attacks itself and attacks the myelin sheath that goes around your nerve fibers. And so really that category deals with myelin repair. So to restore those connections, those synapses, those nerves that maybe have become detached, to get that myelin to protect those nerves and provide that coating again. Myelin is called the myelin sheath. And if you think about a cord, like a phone cord or any type of electrical cord, there's that coating on the outside of the cord, and inside are about, 10, 12 little wires. The myelin is the coating around your nerve fibers, so it protects them. So if you imagine, if myelin is destroyed, it could do one of two things. It can cause pain, right? Because then you have exposed nerves, or it can cause sort of those nerves to become detached.
Okay.
The most important is to end MS forever. So that would be finding a cure. As we move along through those other categories, it does get us closer to a cure. And I think that what we've heard from researchers and medical professionals is the first time they're actually thinking that they have it in their sights, that people that are living with MS now may in fact see a cure.
Wow.
As Tammy stated earlier, the causes, at this point we don't know, but it's been described as they believe that what happens is a perfect storm. So there's probably some type of genetic factor. There's probably some type of environmental factor. There could be some type of stress factor, and all those things happen at once, and then you have your onset of MS. If people are interested in research studies, you can go actually to the Society website and take a look, and it actually has a spot where you can click on it and you can put your zip code in, I believe, and it will tell you studies that are near you.
Oh.
And we always encourage people to contact their medical professional
Yeah.
to find out, because a lot of them know about studies as well. So research is definitely a big area, and it's very, very important. And I think we also hear loud and clear from folks that's really, they want a cure.
Are they doing research at the university here, University of Michigan?
Yes.
And do you guys have a relationship with?
Yes, yes, absolutely. And in fact, we promote some of the studies that they are doing right now. We're funding some of their studies, actually. And in Michigan, if we look at some of the university here, Michigan State, Wayne State, Henry Ford, a lot of places are involved in research. And that's something that people don't realize either, is when you go on and you look at the website, it may say that the study comes out of the Cleveland Clinic, but then you go down and you look for this location near you, because they need a lot of people. When you're looking at 600 people that need to meet this criteria,
Yeah.
you've got to go out of state. So I always encourage people to continue to read, because there may be a location near them that is supporting that study that they can be involved in or a part of. And that's really how all these medications came about. Some of the medications, in fact, were treatments for other things, and then through happenstance they found out that it actually works for MS, and it's gone other ways too. But I think there's always something to be learned from these studies, and a little exploration. And
how do you raise funds? You've talked now about, well, we fund this and we fund that.
We do.
How do you raise the funds to fund?
And so really, we want to have something for everyone. Our largest campaign here in Michigan is our Walk MS program. That is really about coming together. It's raising funds, whether it's through individual donations or team or sponsorship, but about the community coming together and supporting people who are living with multiple sclerosis.
Okay.
We also have Bike MS is the largest event in the country as far as bike events go. And again, you hear we can do 30, 75, or 100 miles a day. Anybody can participate in that. And the great part about Bike MS is we have an I Ride with MS program where people living with multiple sclerosis come out and ride.
Yeah.
And the event as well. But the category, another one that is awesome, is it's a do-it-yourself fundraising platform. And it raises over $250,000 here in Michigan. And it's whatever idea that you have and however creative you want to be and whatever your interest is. We have resources in order to help support you, whether it's staffing resources, information for your program, or online fundraising support. So we have a whole variety of those as well.
What about events? I know you talked about the walk and the bike ride.
Yep.
I wondered, before you answer that question, is that done all on like the same weekend across the whole country?
No. So we want, again, especially with the season here in Michigan,
Yeah.
right? It's a short one, but we get in every single bang that we can. So coming up, we started in May, but we've got two walks coming up here. One in Milford in September, and then we have a bike ride up in Frankenmuth at the end of September. We also have, if people enjoy the Tigers, you can go online, and we have on September 22nd, it's the 5th annual Orange Out the Park game at Comerica Park, and part of the proceeds from your ticket go to the National MS Society, and we've had up to 1,400 people at the game before coming up. We, in October, will also have a black tie dinner called our Dinner of Champions. And this year we'll be honoring Lisa Drake from Ford Motor Company, the first woman that we've ever honored at that. And last year that event in one night alone raised over $1 million.
Where's that done?
That will be at the Henry on October 3rd.
How do you guys engage with healthcare providers and partner with them to help folks with MS?
I like that word, partner, and it really is a partnership, us helping them helping us. We really work hard to get to know the providers that are treating those living with MS. We do several things with them. Typically, we'll go out, we'll visit with them. We can provide in-service training for some of their staff, whether it's their MAs, their social workers, their rehab professionals.
Yeah.
And talk about the services that we have at the MS Society so they can share those with their patients. We can provide literature to them. So for example, there's a pamphlet that many people like that's called What is MS? And there's these little cards that we have that talk about the Navigator program, so the Patty story and how do I get to be a Patty, right? And there's also some educational opportunities that we have on our website that people can access. You know, when you are a medical professional, typically you are going to need continuing education credits. You're going to need to be up to date on the latest, medications, treatments, therapies. And so we have a host of classes on there that professionals can view. Some of them come with CEUs and they're all free of charge. We try to engage a lot of students too. For students, we have opportunities on there as well to learn about MS and sort of find something that makes them stand out from everybody else and what's going to make them get that job versus all the other students. We also do, every year there's a consortium of MS centers, and it rotates where it is across the country, but we also provide support for some medical professionals to go to that. So for example, you know, there may be a nurse that's a newer nurse that, you know, they don't have the funding to send that nurse to the consortium on MS centers. And so the MS Society does provide some scholarships for those medical professionals to go to those types of trainings and events. And then in addition, when our partners are able to have direct contact to some of the navigators, so they're able to do a referral and have a navigator actually contact someone.
Okay.
And then the navigator can actually loop back and work with the professional to figure out what's going to be the best way to help that person. So, you know, it's sometimes, you know, two minds are greater than one, and really working together. We get professionals that will call us. Sometimes, you know, they'll even join us at a walk or a bike event, and I think that's great too for those that are living with MS to see their healthcare providers there walking right there with them and joining in. So we really have strong support from our providers, and I think, you know, good connections with them, and it's also connecting them with each other. So, you know, if you have some new providers coming into your facility, you have a new fellow, you know, getting them introduced to other people in the area, other doctors, and just providing that real strong connection between us, between them, and that really helps the patient stay connected and get the best care possible.
Tell me what the priorities are as far as, I imagine you guys do advocacy. Can you tell us about your advocacy efforts?
One of the primary advocacy efforts is funding through the NIH, and getting that funding for research, and again, those funding streams. And really, you know, research is a process, and they actually talk about the research pipeline, and it can be very slow. But in recent years, due to some great advocacy, we've been able to move things quicker through that pipeline. The other category would be access to healthcare. So every day we're hearing about health insurance, we're hearing about healthcare, we're hearing about those struggles. Is it going to change? Is it not going to change? So that's a big piece of advocacy for us, and really just providing a strong voice. What do people need? What are the realities? What are people that are out here day to day living with, and what do they need? One of the other big ones, and this kind of goes along with a little bit of that healthcare and insurance, is there's something that's called surprise billing. And so there are so many different chains out there when you go to the doctor. So when you get your bill, you think, okay, well, I thought this was covered. And you get this surprise bill that you weren't expecting. Well, it may be that you went in and you had to have an x-ray, and the radiologist looked at it, and then they needed someone else to read it. Okay, so where you went was covered by your insurance, but maybe one of the radiologists that looked at it wasn't in your plan. But you didn't have a choice. You didn't say. So there are these surprise billing things that are happening that really are not fair. Some of it might be you go in and you get your prescription, and all of a sudden you go to pay for your prescription, and all of a sudden that prescription is higher than it was before. And it's because now maybe that pharmacy has contacted with a middleman to assist with that. Well, the charge is for the middleman. And you may not notice it. It might be that you go pick your prescription up and you think, maybe that's $2 or $3 more than it was before. And you don't really notice it, you don't pay attention, just like your cable bill. But when it's really a problem is when you go in and you maybe get a service, like I said, an x-ray or a CT scan, CAT scan, whatever it might be, MRI. And then all of a sudden you have this huge bill. Where did that come from?
And Liz, you mentioned the cost of medications. That's the other area that I would say. So we really have been trying to bring the cost of MS medications down as much as possible. They need to be affordable. It's great that we have medications for people who have multiple sclerosis, but if you can't afford to take them, they're not going to do you any good. And I spoke with a gentleman this spring, and he has been on the same medication for over 20 years. It started, it was $10,000 a year, and it's now over $90,000 a year. So we really need to advocate for people that that cost would be regulated.
So let's take a look at a video that you brought of people that are living with MS.
Various different types of people.
We are a movement by and for people affected by multiple sclerosis.
Until we end this disease forever, we will do whatever it takes
to accelerate breakthroughs.
We believe that we are stronger together.
That nobody should face MS alone.
We will be by your side every step of your journey.
From day one.
We'll be your partner through the challenges.
Sharing ideas and finding solutions.
We believe
that people live better lives
when they are understood and supported.
It's hard to hear.
But you look so good.
When you feel anything but.
Or to feel like MS is the only thing people see.
we will be there for your loved ones so they can be there for you. We'll shine a light on what it means to live with MS.
Till the rest of the world understands.
We believe that everyone deserves affordable medications,
a doctor who knows MS,
and a healthcare system that puts you first.
You should never have to choose
between paying your bills
and getting the care you need.
We will make sure your voice is heard loud
and clear.
We'll be your champion
from the halls of Congress
to City Hall.
We believe that you should be able to plan for the next 10 years.
Even the next 10 minutes.
Without MS getting in the way.
Complex problems take many solutions.
Coming together in just the right way.
We'll be there to help you piece it all together.
We'll work every day
so you can get what you want from life.
Even while living with this disease.
We believe that no one else should have to face the fear
and uncertainty
of an MS diagnosis.
And that those that have MS
should get back what they've lost.
Curing this disease takes a global effort.
We will fund the most
promising leads
and gather the brightest minds
to find a cure
as fast as possible.
We'll be unrelenting
until the very
end.
We believe
that
we all have something to contribute.
Whether it's time,
money,
connections,
or sheer passion,
there is strength
in numbers.
We're calling on you to join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Find your place in this movement.
We need you.
We need you.
We need you.
Together, we will create a world free of MS.
Group shot of all these people. nationalmssociety.org/get involved.
That was really powerful. I really like that. Multiple sclerosis affected me personally as my own mom lived with a progressive form of MS for 40 years. As a child, an adolescent, and then as an adult, I witnessed a life well lived and her MS well managed. I thought I knew a lot about MS and the effects it has on a person and their family, but I learned much more today that I will go on to share with others that I know who live with MS. I want to thank Tammy and Liz for joining us today and sharing all of their expertise and resources locally and around the state. On behalf of the Ann Arbor Commission on Disability Issues and all of us at Ann Arbor Inclusive, I thank you for joining us. I'm your host, Tom Houtland. We hope to see you next time here on Ann Arbor Inclusive.